Hello, my name is Rebecca Hatch, and when viewing various forms of media, one often comes across negative depictions of obese people, whether it be on magazine covers, cartoon strips, popular movies and shows, the news, and on the internet. Obese people are all portrayed the same, negatively. When viewing these negative images of obese people, one does not realize the impact it has on their lives. Basing myself on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, I will be proving that the media does contribute to the defilement of the human rights of obese people, which are the rights bestowed to every American citizen in the U.S. Constitution of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I will discuss obese people as portrayed in the media, discrimination faced by them in the workplace, and the ridicule and stigma imparted upon them. Knowing that obese people do face ridicule, let's discuss how they're portrayed. The Red Center for Food and Policy states that unfortunately, overweight and obese persons are often portrayed negatively and disparagingly in the media. These portrayals perpetrate damaging weight-based stereotypes and contribute to the pervasive bias and discrimination that overweight and obese persons experience in everyday life. When obese people are portrayed in the media, they're portrayed as over-gluttonous monsters who are lazy, unattractive, and smelly. Obese people hardly are represented in a good manner, let's say as the head of a company or not portraying a stereotype. When portrayed by the media, obese people are the joke. An example of this could be seen in the movie Norbit with the character Respucia. She is portrayed as ugly, rude, and hateful, and morbidly obese. This character wears ill-fitting clothing and is the whole joke of the movie. Tracy Rose, author of Norbit Offensive to Obese People, comments on the character and states that she has to hoist up her stomach for him to notice that her body has completely covered her bathing suit. This adds to the stereotype of obese people being showing that they are overly morbid and cannot wear fitting clothes. Keeping these stereotypes in mind, let's see how it plays in obese people's daily lives. Obese people face discrimination in the workplace. Rebecca Fall describes this as unequal and unfair treatment based on one's weight. Fat Chance, it's not easy for obese worker, tells the account of Annette McConnell, who faces discrimination in her job because of her weight. 3 years ago, she was working in sales for a company in Arizona and was tipping the scales at about 300 pounds. She says, I was told by this manager that they were going to lay me off because people don't like buying from fat people. He told me straight up in my face. Elizabeth Kirsten wrote addressing the problem of obese people in the workplace, states that weight discrimination is a serious problem affecting millions of U.S. workers. Fat people and fat women in particular experience job-related discrimination in hiring, wages, and the terms and conditions of their employment. A study conducted by Christians demonstrates that 60% of fat women and 40% of fat men felt that they have been discriminated against in the workplace. The reason behind this, Kirsten states, are that employers often utilize stereotypes as proxies for worker value. They rely on traits such as weight and stereotypes to make hiring decisions. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted by the UN after the Second World War, states that everyone has the right to life, liberty, and equality and dignity of rights. Based on the example shown, when obese people are discriminated in the workplace, they are impeded from being able to live a normal work life and have the security of knowing that they won't be fired because of their weight or be promoted because of weight. When judged on weight and not work, obese people do not have equal hiring opportunities as a thin person. They have to work harder to prove their worth and to not depict their stereotypes. Now that we have seen the discrimination of obese people, let's see how the stigma and ridicule they face. Weight stigma or bias generally refers to negative weight-related attitudes toward an overweight or obese individual. Weight stigma includes verbal teasing, physical aggression, kicking, and relational victimization. BBC News magazine did an expose on this and claims, "You fat, big fat pig," is all Marsha Coop heard before she was kicked in the stomach and punched in the face. The 53-year-old businesswoman says she was sitting in an almost empty train carriage in the early evening when she was kicked, punched, and shouted at for taking up 2 seats. This is an image of how she was left. Harriet Brown, a writer for the New York Times, writes, Public attitude about people have never been more judgmental. Stigmatizing fat people has become not just acceptable, but in some circles, de rigueur. I searched on sites, and you can at least search the term hate fat people on sites like Google and YouTube and find millions of hits and videos disparaging them. I found one of a girl on YouTube who spoke on obese people, saying, "Go for a jog once in a while, or at least take a walk, take a shower, maybe you won't stink as much. Clean out your rolls, there could be a kid stuck under there." The Universal Declaration of Human Rights also states that no one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment. By portraying obese people negatively or allowing people in the media to disparage obese people, the media is subjecting obese people to degrading and inhumane treatment. People forget that obese people are humans. They make fun of them and abuse them both physically and mentally. When you're presented with one image, which is negatively, people begin to believe that about you. To conclude, many do not realize the actual power of the media. When the media portrays obese people with negative stereotypes, such as overeating, it leads to stigma, discrimination, ostracization, hate, and misjudgment. In other words, many loss of their human rights.